You've probably seen this phrase 1,000 times, right? Maybe whispered in a conversation or just plastered in bold letters online. It's a phrase that feels really heavy, really important, and, let's be honest, a little mysterious. There it is. It's one of those ideas that somehow explains everything and nothing all at the same time. It's like it's hinting at some hidden layer to our world, you know? A set of secret rules that are running just beneath the surface that we can all feel, even if we can't always put a name to it. So, what do people actually mean when they say this? What is this so-called dark truth? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. Our mission is to unpack the most common meanings behind this really powerful and, frankly, provocative idea. Okay, first things first, we have to understand why this phrase is so powerful to begin with. And its real strength, it comes from its ambiguity. It's like this empty container that can hold all of our personal frustrations. You know, from feeling stuck in a dead-end job to watching the news and just feeling like the whole world is fundamentally rigged. It clicks with us because we get to fill in the blanks with our own experiences. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try on a few different pairs of glasses, so to speak. We're going to explore the three main lenses people use when they try to figure out what's wrong with society to really get to the heart of what they see as the dark truth. Let's kick things off with the big one, probably the most common one, the lens of money. This viewpoint basically argues that if you want to understand what's wrong with the world, all you got to do is follow the money. So, if you're looking through this economic lens, the dark truth isn't some big mystery. Nope, it's a system. A system where all the big issues, poverty, inequality, exploitation, they aren't bugs, they're features. From this perspective, the world is basically a game where the rules were written by the rich for the rich. In this chart, it visualizes that argument perfectly. Just look at it. Notice how wealth isn't just the biggest piece of the pie, it's literally half of it. The argument here is that this one component, wealth, doesn't just sit there next to the others. Oh no, it actively dictates them. Your access to a good career, a decent education, even who you know, it's all fundamentally shaped by where you start on the economic ladder. So to wrap this idea up, this view says that society is, at its core, a constant struggle between economic classes. It suggests we're all trapped in this cycle of materialism that promises happiness but never actually delivers, all while the system is designed to squeeze value out of the many to benefit the few. Now that is a really powerful argument, for sure, but it's not the only one out there. What if we're looking in the completely wrong direction? What if the problem isn't the external system we've built, but the internal hardware we're all running? And that, right there, brings us to our second perspective, the lens of the mind. This view completely turns the camera around, away from big societal structures, and points it directly at human nature itself. Yeah, this slide just lays out the central conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the economic lens, talking about external structures, unjust rules that maybe we can fix. But on the other side, the psychological lens sees internal biases, flawed thinking. And that leads to a much, much tougher question. If the problem is hardwired into us, can it ever really be fixed at all? I mean, just think about our most basic human instincts, right? Our tendency toward tribalism that makes us see the world as us versus them. Our confirmation bias, which works like a filter, only letting in information that proves what we already believe. Or that deep, primal urge for status, that need to climb some kind of social ladder, no matter what that ladder is made of. This perspective says these aren't just side effects of a bad system, they are the system. This is the source code for all our social conflicts. So when you look at it this way, the dark truth is pretty sobering. It suggests that any perfect society we try to build is always going to be corrupted, not by money or by class, but by the simple, messy, and often totally irrational realities of our own psychology. All right, let's move on to our third and final lens. This one asks a totally different kind of question. It doesn't focus on the money or the mind. Instead, it asks, who's in control? Who gets to decide what we even think about in the first place? This is what we're calling the power lens. And the core idea here is that the dark truth is all about control. It suggests the most important structures in society aren't the banks or corporations, but the institutions that literally shape our reality, our media, our schools, our culture. And it claims they are all designed to keep the existing power structure right where it is. So according to this view, how does a truth get, well, made. It starts with an idea, one that benefits the people in charge. Then it gets repeated and amplified over and over again by institutions until it just feels like obvious common sense. And at the same time, any ideas that challenge that narrative, they get pushed to the side, labeled as crazy or unrealistic. And that leads to this really powerful idea that the greatest form of control isn't force, it's not violence. It's shaping the boundaries of our imagination. It's making the way things are now seem like the only way things could ever possibly be. Okay, so we've got three totally different dark truths, right? One's about money, one's about our own minds, and one's about power. So which one is it? Which one's the real one? Well, what if the most compelling answer is all of them, and that they all depend on each other?
Think about it. First, you've got the economic system. It creates all the pressures and inequalities that we live with every day. And that system is perfectly designed to prey on our inherent psychology, our deep desire for status, our fear of being left behind. And then this whole arrangement is held in place and justified by structures of power that constantly tell us this is just the way things are. You see, the real dark truth, if there is one, probably isn't a single point of failure. It's more like a self-reinforcing loop. Our psychological need for status gets funneled into consumerism by an economic system, and that whole system is then protected by power structures that shape what we believe is normal and what we should want. They all work together. So what's the big takeaway here? What should you remember from all this? It's that no single theory explains the whole shebang. Each of these lenses shows you a really important part of the problem. And the real skill, the goal of being a critical thinker, isn't about picking your favorite lens and throwing the others away. It's about understanding which lens you're using or which lens someone else is using at any given moment and recognizing what that lens might be hiding from you just as much as what it's showing you. And that really brings us to the final question, the one I want to leave you with. The next time you think about what's wrong with the world, when you feel that dark truth of society, which lens are you naturally looking through? And what might you see if you just tried on a different pair?